All right, howdy y'all. Good evening, Texas Democrats, and welcome to the official TDP Vice Chair for Finance Candidate Forum approved by the governing body of the Texas Democratic Party, the State Democratic Executive Committee, also known as the SDEC. I am Party Business Advisor Marco Arantia,
Good evening, Texas
and
Democrats.
welcome to the official and your timekeeper for tonight. To our audience watching the live stream feed on YouTube, please take the time out right now to click on subscribe to get YouTube notifications for the Texas Democratic Party and give this video a like. Again, click the bell to subscribe for notifications and click on thumbs up to give a like. Now, let me introduce our two moderators for tonight, the county chairs of the Travis County and the Rockwall County Democratic Parties, Pooja Sethi and Susie Stansel. I am proud to have known these two amazing women before they became county chairs, and they do amazing work in Central Texas and DFW, respectively. Let me tell you a bit about them. Pooja Sethi is the Chief of Staff to Texas State Representative Vicki Goodwin, the outgoing chair of the Texas Democratic Party and a Texas House candidate for District 47. Pooja has 4 years of experience working in the Texas legislature, where she has focused on legislative strategy, policy, and advocacy. Formerly an immigration attorney with Catholic Charities, her work is centered on civil rights and due process. In the legislature, she's advanced legislation on child safety, domestic violence protection, and affordable housing. Her priorities include strengthening democracy, funding education, and gun reform. As Travis County Democratic Party chair, she expanded voter outreach and supported local candidates. Deeply involved in her community, she attends local events and addresses issues like water structure and traffic safety. She's also held leadership roles in organizations like the Indian American Coalition of Central Texas and Planned Parenthood Texas. Recognized with such awards as the 2019 YWCA Great Austin Women of Color Leading Change Award, Pooja is known for her dedication to the Texas community. Susie Stansel worked for Southwestern Bell AT&T for 32 years, retiring after a career that began right after high school in 1969. She was a CWA, a Communication Worker of America, union member from the start in Houston, coming from a family deeply involved in labor unions and democratic politics. Her father was a leader in the OCAW, known as the Oil, Chemical, and Atomic Workers International Union, and her mother volunteered for Democratic campaigns. Interested in public service from a young age, she followed her family's political involvement. As union steward at AT&T CWA, she ensured fair treatment for workers and actively participated in picket lines. In 2000, she became a 5-state chapter president in the Telephone Pioneers of America, dedicating over 10 years to community service. Moving to Rockwall in 2010 after retirement, she became an active Democrat, serving as precinct chair, county executive director, events and fundraising chair, and campaign treasurer for Karen Jacobs' campaign in 2015 and 16 for House District 33. Since 2021, she has been the Rockwall Party County chair and a state delegate to the convention since 2014, as well as delegation chair since 2016. In 2013, she started the Liberal Ladies Who Lunch group, which gained media attention and spread to other cities. Being a county chair in Rockwall has been a great experience and a privilege for her. Their volunteers and precinct chairs work very hard to get their Democrats out to vote and to help any of the candidates that need their help. Their work in the county parties is extremely important, and she hopes their small county helps contribute to the big goal of seeing Texas lead them back to the Democratic it once was and needs to be now. So let's give it up for our moderators, chairs Pooja Sethi and Susie Stansel. Pooja?
Hi. Did you want me to do about the vice chair for finance? Sorry, Marco.
Yes. Yes. If you could introduce our candidates and talk about the vice chair for finance.
Perfect. Okay. Well, a little about this position. The vice chair for finance is one of the 5 executive officers of the governing board of the Texas Democratic Party, named the State Democratic Executive Committee, known to us as the SDEC. The 4 other executive officers of the party are the chair, the vice chair, the secretary, and the treasurer. The TDP rules, which essentially bylaws, charters, or constitution of the state party, state that the Vice Chair of Finance shall have the responsibilities for fundraising under the direction of the state chair and shall have other duties and responsibilities assigned by the chair or by the SDEC. The Vice Chair for Finance serves as the de facto second Vice Chair. This position is normally chosen for a 4-year term at the State Democratic Convention in gubernatorial midterm years. However, the position became vacant when former State Party Vice Chair for Finance, Kendall Scudder, was elected to fill the vacancy of former State Party Chair Gilberto Hinojosa on March 29th. Chair Scudder called for an election to be held at the SDEC regular meeting Q2 2025 in Denton this Saturday. This is the sole official forum approved by the SDEC. And Susie, did you want to do the ground rules?
Yeah, thank you. Let me introduce the candidates we have with us tonight. We have Brandon McGuire, Katy Doan. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. And Meri Gomez and Kolby Duhon. Thank y'all all for being here tonight. Responses to the questions should be no longer than 90 seconds. Please complete your remarks when the time is up, or you may be muted if you go over. Earlier today, in order for candidates to give relatively better responses, candidates received draft versions of the majority of the questions being asked tonight, since this is the only official forum. The current question will appear for candidates on Zoom via the internal chat. Draft questions will be posted on the YouTube info. Questions will be asked in a rotating order of candidates, and the questions are sourced from the question form that was circulated online prior. SDEC members watching us live on YouTube may submit questions privately to our party business advisor, Marco, via text or signal. He'll pass those questions along to myself and Pooja in a group chat we have on Signal. If the question is appropriate and not similar to a previous question, as well as if there is still time, we'll get to those additional questions submitted by the SDEC members. After the questions are complete, we will have closing statements. Regarding rebuttals, as the moderators, we are allowed to give a candidate a 30-second rebuttal if a candidate is name checked, but only if we give a candidate permission to do so, because we may need to move along if needed to get through more questions. Okay, so let's begin with the opening question for all candidates. Remember that answers have a 90-second limit. This is the only official forum, so the first couple of questions are going to be about getting to know who you are, both for the public watching live or the recording on YouTube, but also for the SDEC members who will choose one of you to be our next Vice Chair of Finance. Please tell us why you are a Democrat. And we'll start with Brandon McGuire.
Hi, everyone. I just want to thank the party for putting this on. I would like to thank the moderators and also Marco and everyone who is here watching live through YouTube. Once upon a time, there was a 17-year-old kid who would get curious about the Texas political process and would go to a precinct convention in Pattison, Waller County, and it has been off to the races for me since then. My political work has taken me across the country, from battleground state to battleground state, which also does include Texas. I have worked for political campaigning for the better part of 10 years, as well as agricultural experience. I have worked in Wyoming as a barn manager, and I am also a precinct chair here in Tarrant County for 1298, which is where I currently reside. It was a moment in time that I can remember when I was standing at the National Mall during President Barack Obama's inauguration in 2009, that I really felt like I was a Democrat, standing amongst the throngs and throngs of people there. It was what really spurred me. Instead of taking my senior trip to some tropical paradise, I took it to a very cold morning at 3 a.m. in Washington, D.C. And it has been my life's passion, honestly, to work towards advancing democracy in the world.
Thank you. Katy?
Hi, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here, and it is my first time with the party. And you know what? I'm a Democrat because I believe in people over profits, opportunity over exclusion, and compassion over fear. You know, as a mother, a public servant, and the daughter of immigrants, I live in the struggle that many citizens faces, and from the access to education, healthcare, or fighting to have a seat at the table of board of directors. I'm working as a CFO for a private investment fund, and it's really difficult for me to move up. I'm also the ambassador for the DEI in Rice University. I just graduated from Rice Executive MBA and also get my master's degree in accounting and finance from University of St. Thomas. So I strongly believe that the Democratic Party, we represent the value of equity, dignity, and collective responsibility that I hold close. I'm very proud to be a part of the movement that we fight for working families, invest in our children's future, and believes every voice deserve to be heard. I used to be the professor in Vietnam, and now I'm pursuing Doctor of Educational Leadership in University of St. Thomas. So what I care is about accounting, finance, education, and for working families. Thank you.
Thank you, Katy. Next, Meri Gomez.
Yes. So my name is Meri. I am the daughter of immigrants, and my parents were contractors when I was a kid. They started their own businesses, and my dad ended up working for several contractors in Austin, Texas. I went to Barrington Elementary for a couple years, and then my dad ended up having an opportunity to open up a business in South Texas. So we moved down to South Texas, where I attended O'Grady Elementary and Kenneth White Junior High and Mission High School, where I excelled as a district champion and a Rio Grande Valley star athlete with track and field. I ended up getting a scholarship to Lindenwood University in St. Louis, Missouri, where I attended the university for a year and a half. And then I returned home to work at the family business and also go to business school at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, where I was the president of Alpha Kappa Psi, a business fraternity that was founded in Brooklyn, New York on the Brooklyn Bridge. And I got my degree in accounting and have my associates in business administration, and where I'm working for my master's in accountancy with the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. And I have my own small business that I've had for 15 years, no audits in the history of my business. And I work alongside with a lot of local revenue officers. But that is just my professional career. Also have so much more to share with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Kolby Duhon, tell us why you're a Democrat.
Hi there, friends. First off, yes, just a massive thanks to the party, to both of our moderators, and also my fellow candidates here for engaging in this discussion, not only for the SDEC, the voters in this race, but for Texas Democrats writ large at the grassroots level who are seeing a revitalization of their state party as we speak with the new energy with the election of our chairman, Kendall Scudder. So the answer to why I'm a Texas Democrat is honestly because of a liberal Catholic Southeast Texas mama, C-SPAN, and the Young Democrats. And so I grew up in Port Arthur, Texas, with a mama who was a tried and true yellow dog Democrat. She was really the only person in my immediate family that was politically involved, and she was loud about it. Growing up in Southeast Texas, I was a little of an oddball. My TV in my bedroom, constantly switched between ESPN to watch the Astros or the Rockets or the Spurs, and C-SPAN for whatever reason to watch whatever senator was droning on about the events of the day. That was what kind of sparked my interest. And when I moved to Austin, 2 weeks after I moved here, I found myself at an Austin Young Democrats meeting at the invitation of the son of my longtime state representative, Joseph Deschantel. And I was hooked from then on, and that set me off on my journey to where I am today. My time is up, but I have so much more to share with y'all, and I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you, Kolby. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Tell us about your upbringing. Where did you grow up? How were you raised? Tell us about your childhood, teenage years, and early adulthood. So, Kolby, we'll go with you.
We'll just keep right on to it. So as I said, born in Port Arthur, Texas, raised in Groves, Texas, small town Southeast Texas. Believe it or not without Democratic representation. We had a Democratic congressman for most of my life before gerrymandering took away our Democratic representation. And as y'all seen in the most recent primaries, we got very close to Beaumont making the correct decision to sending a Democratic mayor and a Democratic council. And so I was born and raised, like I said, with my grandmother being the main influence of the Democratic Party in my childhood. With apathetic parents who still to this day, they're engaged, but for the most part, dad calls every year and says, Bud, who we voting for? And so I like to say I get 3 votes every year because my parents just call and ask me to tell them about their ballot. So I moved to Austin in 2013, scraggly kid from small town Southeast Texas with hellacious social anxiety, a different mustache, but more than anything, a desire to be involved in something larger than myself, and the Young Dems was the path that led me to do that. I wound up serving as Austin Young Dems president, as the Texas Young Democrats statewide president, the first openly queer president elected to that position, and nationally as the vice president of the largest youth partisan organization in the nation, the Young Democrats of America.
Thank you, Kolby. Brandon McGuire.
I grew up in another republic of ours and got to Texas as quickly as I could. I grew up in, but these days, a traditional American household with 2 divorced parents. I was born to an ex-convict who became a union member for Local 12 International Operating Engineers. And my mother was a factory worker making heart stents. From the moment that I set foot in Texas, I was enamored with the political process. I went to Katy High School, and I was a Katy High School football player, state champion 2008. I was in Model United Nations. I was in my German club at high school. I was in academic decathlon. And then I would go on to San Antonio to St. Mary's University, pursuing a political science degree. I would join a fraternity and become its vice president of programming for Sigma Phi Epsilon. I was also the captain of my rugby team at St. Mary's, the first contact sport at St. Mary's since Dwight D. Eisenhower took the entire football team to go fight in the trenches. And I was raised to treat everyone equally. And it is the driving force behind exactly why I became a Democrat. I remember specifically the president of the Young Republicans Club would come to school in a suit every day with a briefcase, and I never could ever identify with that person. And it was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. And my family is what really got me involved when I moved to Texas. I should say my step family. Thank you.
Okay. Katy?
Yes, ma'am. So I was born and raised in Vietnam, and then I came to Houston Desert 12 years ago to start my Master of Accounting and Finance from University of St. Thomas. And I used to be the professor for Vietnam National University, High School for the Gifted, top 1% in Vietnam, because I'm the alumni over there. So I'm the youngest professor over there, and my whole family, we are professor and doctor. I got accepted to Rice University for executive MBA, and I just completed. And I just got accepted to Harvard Kennedy School for Master of Public Administration, and also for the Harvard Business School. So I will take that later. And it's been almost the time I spend with kids, with educational people. So I think I can bring that background to have people, educate people, and bring it with those people who really need it. So I'm singing solo for the choir. I'm Catholic, and I got a lot of national award in Vietnam in singing. I play table tennis, swimming, gym, and soccer. I also have some awards in that. My parents taught me to be grateful, to give back, and to just in a purpose greater than myself. So as a child, I playing gym and soccer. I also
Thank you. Time.
yeah. So it's mean I try to help bridge towards supporting my family while striving to achieve more
Katy.
through education.
Katy, your time's up. Thank you, dear. Okay, Meri.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I got confused with the questions and I jumped on the second one instead of the first one. But one of the reasons why I am a Democrat, guys, is because I've come to realize that a lot of the programs that I needed as a single mom, as an uneducated woman, as a family of immigrants, that at the end of the road, wherever it is, whatever it is that I found there was a Democratic program, WIC, Section 8 housing, Medicare, Medicaid. All of those programs were created by Democrats, and I am going to make sure that I fight for them and continue the fight. I've diversified myself in music, in business, in science, in the sciences as well. And I think that I am prepared for any kind of BS that the Republicans are going to throw at us to make sure that they try to deminimize us and let the people know that we are not the party for the people, but we are. And I know that because I'm here. Being a single mom has been one of the hardest challenges in my life. And still to this day, I struggle. I don't get the child support that I deserve. I don't depend on my parents to, I don't have a trust fund. And so, you know, I am a lucky person compared to a lot of people here in South Texas. So people here in South Texas, they're just used to clocking in, clocking out, going home. They don't diversify themselves sometimes to open up their own businesses, to make that money, to get out of whatever rut it is that we are stuck in. And we're stuck in here because the leaders are Republican. The leaders of the workers, the people who are cutting the checks, they're donating to the Republican Party and whatever it is, but we need to start getting some Democratic corporations to start helping us. That has helped me a lot. My father was on the Chamber of Commerce for 20 years, president. So I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Meri.
candidates, from now on, I'll go ahead and when it's 10 seconds away, I'll go ahead and just wave this orange post-it. That way you guys know you have 10 seconds left. Thanks.
Thank you, candidates. Pooja.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Next question. What kind of experience do you have in Democratic campaigns and public policy? And we are going to start with Meri Gomez.
Well, so one of the things that I noticed is I was talking to some friends of mine, but I was classified by the local community as a public figure before I ever ran for any kind of election or campaign or anything. The reason why is because I was pushing back a lot with the GOP and I was gaining a lot of attention. And so the chief of police, in order to not get involved in so many police reports or not, you know, have all this commotion around me, was like, you know what, Meri, we're just deeming you a public figure. You're no longer a private citizen. Number one. Number two, I was on the board for the Hidalgo County Democratic Party before I was ever a precinct chair, before I was ever a political candidate. And so I think that that stands out in of itself. We did fundraise a lot of money. I was trying to contact the chair to see exactly how much we fundraised for some of the events, but we threw some dances, which Chuy Hinojosa, our Texas State Senator, enjoyed. And also I was involved in a lot of leadership positions with the Greek Council. I was involved in some boards with some local community organizations. And myself, I was also a candidate for US Senate, which I got 50,000 votes with almost no money. And so that was a lot of fun, and I look forward to campaigning again. So we're gonna keep moving forward, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kolby Duhon?
Yeah, so in terms of Democratic campaigns and public policy, I've served on political campaigns in the most important role, field organizer, all the way up to campaign manager, deputy campaign manager. I've served on mayoral campaigns, on judicial campaigns, and am proud and lucky enough to have served with teams that have made it possible that I've actually never been on payroll for a losing race. And so, you know, I'm super stoked to bring campaign experience to this position. On top of that, in terms of the public policy, leading statewide organizations that I have, such as NARAL Pro-Choice Texas. I've served as president of the C3, as well as the Texas Young Democrats. Obviously, leadership in those positions requires tapping in on public policy, especially when our legislative session is in session. I wish that we lived in a state in which I wanted them in session more than once every 2 years, but we don't. One day, through the power of the movement that we will build together, we will want a Texas legislative session that is full-time and accessible to all working people. So that's a little bit of my involvement in Democratic campaigns and public policy, and I'm happy to expand on that further as we move to other questions that are a little similar.
Thank you, Kolby. Brandon McGuire?
I started my professional career in politics as a volunteer. 2008 convention in Austin, 2010 convention in Corpus Christi, and 2012 convention in Houston. I was a volunteer to the state party. I was stuffing packets for delegates. I was following Jim Bowington around, who is an old name in the party, who's unfortunately no longer with us, learning everything that I possibly could, soaking up as much information as I could, until 2012, when I took my first paid organizing position at the Harris County Democratic Party, which was the election that we successfully pulled in 19 new judges that, excuse me, 9 new judges that year, maintaining all but one in that race. I went on to work for the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee in Wisconsin during 2016. Technically, I was an employee of the state party of Wisconsin, but that's something we can get into later about how to get money from national organizations. I further went on to work for a few different candidates around Houston. Most of my work, honestly, in politics has been in the Houston area, from anything from the courthouse to the White House. Mostly my congressional races have been red to blue races. I've worked in Wisconsin, I've worked in Pennsylvania, and I've also worked in Florida, as well as Texas. In Pennsylvania specifically, that was when my fundraising experience comes up in, that was officially on paper. I was a fundraising associate to a firm that had many candidates that all the way, again, from the courthouse to the Senate race. And I have been involved as a precinct chair, not only here in Tarrant, but in Harris County as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Katy?
Yes, ma'am. So it's been, I used to work as an accounting supervisor in City Town, so I'm very familiar with the public policy, and I also advise on the fiscal policy and led DEI strategy in both public and non-profit sector. So I also in some advisory board for Nursing Rock Concert Series, Colorado Spring Health and Fitness, brother-in-laws incorporation, and I'm in the board of director for the PMI Houston Project Management Institute Houston, a VP of Finance, global speaker, and from Rice University, I work as the DEI ambassador. And yeah, so I don't have a lot of experience in democratic campaigns, but now I try to have more. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Next question. What do you do professionally, and how would you use those skills in your position as vice chair for finance? I'm going to repeat that again because I tripped a little bit. What do you do professionally, and how would you use those skills in your position as vice chair for finance? And we are going to start with Katie. Thank you.
Yes, I have more than 20 years of experience in accounting, finance, tax, investment, and currently I'm working as the CFO for the private investment fund in New York, and we have a small office in Houston, so I'm flying back and forth. So I'm very familiar with everything about fundraising and budgeting, and then I believe with my previous job, a regional controller, and I started my career as a senior accountant, and I used to work as a investor relation manager for Petro Vietnam Drilling and Well Services Corporation. So I travel around the Asian country talking about stock markets. So I strongly believe like my specialty in building financial financial statement, strengthening compliance, and designing fundraising system that scale with integrity. So hopefully I can bring my deep knowledge of forecasting, donor cultivation, and all of the thing about finance to have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Meri?
Yes. So, right now I am a tax consultant and I have my own business. I am a controller. I am also a tax advisor. And so over 15 years, I've worked with various clients from oil well companies to municipalities. What I do for them is kind of monotonous, and I found a system where I'm able to just kind of work everything and everything falls into place. I have been able to ensure their stability and making sure that the finances are in order, including payroll. And as far as international, I do have some international clients that are Mexican clients, but the businesses basically run themselves. They're pretty self-efficient once you get them on a system where it is efficient. And I've managed portfolios from $2 billion down to small businesses that make about $100,000 a year. And I want to apply those skills to at least create a system within our party where the last thing we have to worry about is, what bills we need to pay, who needs to get paid, do we have enough? Fundraising is something that I haven't really got into yet, but I look forward to it because whenever I really put my head into it and my spirit into it, people show up in big groups, and I look forward to inspiring a lot of voters. Thank you.
Thank you. Kolby?
Yeah, so by day, I am a proud 10-year member of the Travis County employees. And I'm also a proud member of AFSCME Local 1624, so proud labor member. And I work in the civil court administration of our JP courts. By night, I run judicial campaigns as a campaign manager. I can tell you that certainly running the final red to blue JP race in Travis County, in which there was one log cabin Republican who was severely right-wing for his seat that was left as a JP in Travis County. We flipped that seat on a 14-point swing to the Democrats in 2014, and we've never looked back. We did that by building the largest judicial campaign that this county had ever seen at the time, with 14 staff. And you don't hire 14 staff without doing a lot of fundraising, particularly from skittish donors who thought that that seat would have been blue by then. And so if I can, canvass in Steiner Ranch, if I can convince Travis County bar members to give to a race that the past 2 times they thought it would flip and it did not, to build a team of 14 members, then I have every confidence that I can ensure that our donor base is cultivated to re-giving in a party that they've lost faith in.
Thank you, Kolby. Brandon.
I am, like I said, a campaigner, or was anyways. Most recently, I decided to make a career change, which is one of the reasons why I ran for this position. I got my paralegal certificate through Rice University, and I am now paralegal. But to touch on what is going to really impact my impact on the vice chair for finance is my skills in campaigning. Cutting my teeth in organizing from Harris County all the way to Florida and back again. It is something that you, when you do it over and over and over again, it is a skill that you start to pick up and learn and apply to pretty much everything in your life. But something that makes me unique in this is my agricultural experience. It has allowed me to rub elbows with people from a pretty wide range of our society, from Jackson Hole, Wyoming to Forks, Washington, working for Michelin-starred restaurants, agricultural operations to 1,000-acre ranches with hundreds of horses. It is something that you can relate to with people. And that is a skill that the finance chair really needs, is to be able to build relationships with people. And most people don't necessarily want to meet us in the political sphere. They want to meet us where they feel comfortable. And that is something that I have really honed as a skill, is to meet people where they feel comfortable and to ask tough questions like, not only, how much can you give, but how much involvement do you also want? Because I am the type of person that you can relate to. And these skills are, I think, vitally important for the finance position because it is about raising money. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Susie, you're up.
Okay. Thank you, Pooja. Okay, the next question, and we'll start with Brandon. What is your history in fundraising, including approximately how much have you raised from various types of donors, small, sustaining, and large? Brandon.
I can tell you that I have been paid to be a fundraiser for multiple candidates. I, as a field operative, I started to actually kind of make the crossover while I was doing field, attending fundraising events, helping set them up, helping go through the research calls when I was doing fundraising, sitting down with call time with multiple candidates and trying to, coach them through how to do things. And approximate amount, I wish that I could say, because I do not have the number off the top of my head, but I can say that I am working for multiple federal candidates. I can say that the number that I have helped to raise has been upwards into the 7 digits. Specifically in Wisconsin, when I was on the ground as a deputy field director for Tom Nelson in the 8th district, I was helping the finance team do some of the research and do things like that. And as a team, we raised $1.8 million in 2016. That came from everywhere. That came from large donors. That came from small donors. It was still a very new thing for us to start, I think, Grassroots, because we were moving from paper into more and more digital age. But my skill to essentially meet people where they would like to be met has been probably my largest asset when it comes to my fundraising history, because to be a campaigner and to ask someone for money is one thing, but to relate to your donors in a way, either you are the son of union members or you are, the employee for someone who owns a ranch up in Teton County, Wyoming. It is something that can be very broad. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. We'll go to Katy next.
Yes, so with my current job as the CFO, and I'm also in some advisory board. So I have non-profit and profit organizations. So I have raised more than 10 million And then I also led grant acquisition, major donor pitches, and monthly giving programs. So I understand that fundraising is just not about the money; it's about the trust. And I think almost the time, because people, they trust me and trust my background, they know I can. I know the number, and I can play with the money, and then they trust me. That's why I really focus on donor relationships and transparency. Whether it's $10 or 10K, every contribution reflects someone belief in our mission, and I take that responsibility seriously. Yeah.
Thank you, Katy. Meri?
Yes. Can you hear me? So in fundraising, well, I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor. I grew up asking for money since I was a kid. But one thing I never really did was, take account to it. I know as a kid, when we grow up at the back of the church, they would always kind of put a number as to how many people donated, but we never really counted the money. The money kind of just always flowed no matter what. But also growing up in my professional life, one of the first nonprofit organizations that I helped was a 100-year-old nonprofit called the Texas Citrus Fiesta. The Texas Citrus Fiesta fundraises millions of dollars. And of course, I'm always kind of involved. I just tell people, hey, cut us a check, cut us a check. I help with a lot of campaigns. I've always been on the donor side of campaigns, never on the fundraising side, until I started getting involved like with Bethel's campaign, where we were phone banking for him there at my office. We were just trying to find space where we can kind of start reaching out. But I've basically been on the end where people have, we're just getting out the vote and making sure people go out and vote. The money has always been there. The candidates here in South Texas are always ready to donate. The Democrats here, they have deep pockets when it comes to us Democrats. And so all I got to do is really ask. And people have a lot of confidence in me. They know what I'm doing. I'm educated in business. And so, once the confidence is there, the money will flow. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Meri. Kolby?
Yeah, so in terms of history with fundraising, so I've led 2 statewide organizations in my time on the SDEC. I've been on the SDEC for a decade. And I've seen both the C3 side of fundraising, which is obviously explicitly non-political, and then I've also led explicitly political partisan organizations. And so, I would say if I had to put a number on it, both on the campaign, C3, and organizational side, it would be over 500,000. And so, in terms of small, sustaining, and large, I oversaw the largest sustaining donor increase in Texas Young Democrats history as an organization. And I've also procured $50,000 checks in my time with the Young Democrats of America from large unions or allied organizations. And so it is at all facets of the spectrum. I have done the work as the principal majority of the time. And I can't think of an organization in which I've served in executive leadership in which I haven't been the principal fundraiser.
Okay, thank you, Kolby. Now let's go to the next question, and we'll start with Kolby again. What is your history in working on boards and in organizations that would serve you well in this position? Kolby.
Well, I think being a 10-year member of the SDC is certainly helpful. And I think being a current member of the Finance Committee is certainly helpful. And I can expand a little bit on that. Where we find ourselves as an organization, especially given that we have 1 year left in this term. We have 1 year left until the Corpus Convention to dig ourselves out of the financial hole we find ourselves in, and also ensure that we don't dig out of that hole, take 2 steps, and fall in another one. And in my time leading organizations, when I took over Texas Young Democrats, I was told we had $46,000 in the bank. 2 weeks after my election, I finally gained access to the accounts. We were $12,000 in the red. Within 3 hours, we were back in the black, in the positive. And within 3 months, we had fundraised so much money that for the first time in the organization's history, we were sending checks out the door to local chapters. And so I know the players, I know the score, And I know that on day one, I can roll up my sleeves and do the necessary work to pull ourselves out of the financial hole we find ourselves in and ensure that as we move forward to Corpus, we are not negotiating $200,000 lighting and staging contracts that we cannot afford and that will put us in debt as we move forward as an organization. So it is, yes, raising the funds necessary to pull ourselves out of the hole and also ensuring that we keep even footing for the leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you, Kolby. We'll go to Brandon.
A lot of my work has been, like I said, in politics. The organization that I'd like to really highlight the most is probably my work in Pennsylvania, working for a fundraising consulting firm. We had to juggle multiple candidates all at once, from Supreme Court, Chief Justice Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, Congresspeople running for the United States Senate, Congresspeople running for re-election. It is a multi-hat situation where even though you're doing the same thing, every personality is different, and trying to balance all of that has been something that I've always really excelled at, and it is one reason why I have stayed in politics for as long as I have. But it is also why I took a step away from politics in order to run for this and to find what some people would call a real job as a campaigner. It is something that I find passion in. That is not just something that I want to get a paycheck from. And this position, and given what I'm doing currently right now and all of my experience, is something that I believe is going to really help me to have the flexibility and outside of that, my contact list and what I've got going on personally. A lot of people have known me for a very long time as somebody who's been very political and has always been a Democrat, even though you would not guess it, given some of my work history or what I have done personally in my life. I have always fought for the rights of people who were trod on, I guess, excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Katy?
Yes, ma'am. So as you may know, like I serve on several nonprofit and civic boards focused on education, health equity, and leadership developments. I'm in advisory board for Nursing Rock Concert Series, Colorado Spring Health and Fitness Brother-in-law, and I'm in the board director for the PMI Project Management Institute Houston as VP of Finance. I'm the global speaker for Rice University. I'm the professional development director for Credit Association and vice president for Athletic Club, DEI ambassador. And for the Center of Teaching Excellence, I'm the credit license. I'm also the ambassador for American Psychological Association and Desert Young Professional. So it's mean from all of that position, I think it can help me to develop fundraising strategy and ensure compliance and lead governance reform. And I just been appointed to the DEIB committee of Harvard Extension School. Thank you.
Thank you, Katy. And we'll go to Meri.
Yes. So being the daughter of a business owner, I started getting involved in local politics, not local politics, but local activity as a young girl. By the age of 18, I was on the Organization of Women Executives, where I was able to meet and network with local business owners, and we started the National Hispanic Professional Organization. One of the city councilmen, Pepe Cabeza de Vaca for the city of McAllen, he's there to vouch for me. He knew that we were there when we started all the organizations. I've also helped manage my dad's business, which was a multi-million-dollar business where we did purchases from China and Mexico in the truckloads. And I was also on the board of the Hidalgo County Democratic Party for 2 terms or 2 years. And I kind of tried to stay a little bit low key because I wanted to build my practice and my business, and my clients do need my attention, and I always give them my full attention, as I would for the Texas Democratic Party as well. And so I've limited my outside socializing, but by the grace of God, a lot of people do come in and look for me, and I'm able to serve them in any capacity. And so I look forward to serving the Texas Democratic Party in any capacity, including nonprofit organization and fundraising.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates. Pooja?
Thank you, everyone. Okay, we are up to our 7th question. Why are you doing this? What made you decide to file to be an executive party officer of the Texas Democratic Party? And for that, we are going to start with you, Meri.
Yes, thank you, guys. You know, I was talking about this earlier, and I do want to serve in any capacity that it comes to furthering the Democratic Party initiative throughout the state of Texas. Since 2016, I have dedicated a lot of my time to getting out the vote with absolutely no motive other than just getting out the vote. And so I'm glad that I was able to move on it, because I know in 2018, in 2022, and in 2024 here in South Texas, we held the line other than the presidential race. But I did everything I could in my capacity to make sure that the people in the community knew when to vote, how to vote, what to do, what's going on. And people do call me and ask me, hey, Meri, is this true? And I will look for an authoritative source to make sure that whatever is being put out there is valid or not. But I'm doing this because nobody else is. And a lot of other people are scared or feel intimidated. And I don't have my hands in nobody's pockets. I've never done business with the government. I build my business brick by brick, and I'm getting the vote out vote by vote. We need to stop treating voters like sheep, and we start treating voters like bars of gold. And I want to see each voter on the Democratic Party's vision board or vision list to make sure that we get them out there. We treat them like what they are. 5% turnout is not good. Texas is a non-voting state, and we're going to make it a blue state. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Kolby.
Yeah, so many of my friends and probably colleagues would argue the answer to this question is because I've never learned the art of no. And the simple answer is that many of you asked me to. To be frank, what I'm going to say is probably bad politics. If one of my candidates went to say it as a staffer, I'd probably pull him away from the press camera. But the reality is that I didn't want this position. There was a candidate for chair that I wholeheartedly supported for this position and thought was going to run for this position and would be an excellent fit. When they determined before the filing deadline that they would not be putting themselves forward in service in this way, several members of the SDC's eyes quickly shifted towards me. And so this I see as a natural extension of my service to this party. As I said, I have the existing relationships with elected officials who, A, don't give to the party because they've lost faith in it, and B, several elected officials who I've actually learned in recent weeks have just never been asked. And these are donors that gave every time I asked as president of Texas Young Dems, and they were large checks. They simply have not been asked. So I'm running to institute an elected official giving program. I'm running to ensure that we can continue the success of our Grassroots Trailblazer program. And I'm running to finish out this last 1 year of this term as kind of the final act of my service to this party. I don't anticipate running for re-election in Corpus, quite simply because the work is too large to get 6 to 8 months into this job and start campaigning for re-election. This job requires the next year of someone busting their ass in service to this party, and I will be that person.
Thank you. Brandon.
I am doing this because I've always really done this. This has been something that has been a passion of mine for as long as I can remember, is helping this party, helping the Texas Democratic Party as much as I can, albeit as it's labor. I have been mostly in positions to take orders from people. When I went down to Austin in March to see the state chair race, I as a nobody, walked up to Kendall and told him that I would wholeheartedly support him because Kendall's election is a new day for the party. And that is something that I I definitely wanted to see if I could not bring my skill set to the party, to bring what I have done for not just political candidates, but for people who trusted me with their physical assets, with their financial assets, in ways that someone like myself, who is as young as I am, might not have gotten the opportunity for, had it not been for the responsibilities that elected officials in campaign land did not give me to begin with. It is something that I take very seriously. I do not think that this is a position that is going to. The better way to say this is, whoever gets this position will have to hit the ground running, given the status of everything, our national situation, all the way down to obviously the situation on the ground for Texans. We are seeing just a massive hampering for our population. Thank you.
Thank you. Katy?
Yes, so I'm running because I believe we are at a turning point. These days, how crazy it is, everybody know. And then now I think right here, right now, we need bold, disciplined leadership to turn the tide. As a Vietnamese American, a mom and a finance professional, I live in the challenges that so many Texans face. Navigating broken system, stretching every dollar, and fighting to be heard. I also seen the power of organized people and well-managed resources to change lives. So I also run because I want to build a party infrastructure that's not just reactive every election cycle, but we need to be proactive, inclusive, and financially strong year-round. We need to invest in the grassroots, expand our donor base, and empower communities that have too often been overlooked. I believe that I bring the skill to raise and steward funds with integrity and a heart to serve with humility, strategy, and grit. Thank you.
Thank you, Katy. Okay, next question. It's a long one, so hold on. As you know, the State Democratic Executive Committee, or SDEC, will vote this Saturday for one of you to be the Vice Chair of Finance. Party Business Advisor Marco Arantia gave each one of you a list of the SDEC members and their contact information. It's your list of voters to use on your campaign to be the next Vice Chair of Finance. How have those calls, text, and emails gone with SDEC members? Is there anything you are hearing or that you are learning? And you probably want to know who should go first. Katy, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm very thankful for that list. And then to tell the truth, I'm really new to the party and everything. So I just try to learn. So I did join several events to hear and learn from a Democrat member. And I did send some email introducing myself. And I also receiving some email back. I will set up more phone calls and I will show up in more upcoming events to know more about the members. And I'm willing to learn, to listen. And so I know this is totally new to me. And then I really need to learn from you guys. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Katy. Meri, go ahead.
I'm so glad I followed Katy, but I just want to say, Katy, welcome to the Democratic Party. I am so happy to have a financial expert like you because there is so much that's going to come our way. And I am so happy to have you on board. And I look forward to being any kind of assistance to you, to the Democratic Party. You know, I haven't reached out to the list members because I campaign a different way. Sometimes a lot of the voting bodies, they already know what they're voting for and who they're voting for, and they know us. And I was able to also do an introduction of myself and my thoughts and my philosophy to the SDEC and other Democrats around the state of Texas through the wonderful tour that we did for the Texas Democratic Party chair campaign. It was an honor and a privilege to see all of you guys. I am hearing some stuff from some of the SDEC members where like Kolby maybe not prepared for some of the stuff that's coming up. They did talk about you a little bit, but we need to see more of the messaging come out. And we need to see that. That's what's I got 50,000 votes with no money, just on pure messaging. And so I'm looking
Time.
forward to bringing some messaging. Thank you, guys.
Kolby?
Well, that's interesting to hear because I have called almost the whole list, and I certainly am going to be elected on Saturday. I'm confident to say. So yeah, I wouldn't put myself forward in a race without engaging the electorate. Yes, endorsements are important in normal races, but the only endorsement that matters in this race is the SDECs. I don't know about this Marco guy. That email must have gone to spam. But no, yeah, I have reached out to virtually the entire list at this point. I have a couple dozen calls left to go. I have sent emails. The response has been overwhelming, and I cannot wait to serve as our party's next vice chair of finance. If you have not heard from me yet, that simply means that I'm really bad at cutting off phone calls. And I have had several phone calls that have gone over the hour limit, and that is simply the only reason that in essentially a 2-week race, I have not finished that list just yet. So I'm having incredible conversations. We actually have some really impressive financial credential SDEC members. One of them who pointed out to me that our existing budget calls for 48% assumed growth over its lifetime. Do you know that any layman can tell you that there is not a Fortune 500 company in this country that will get out of single-digit growth in the next year? So part of the next job that I'll take on is redoing our budget to be realistic. We are not going to grow 48% over the lifetime of the budget. We just aren't.
We will.
Thank you. Brandon?
How have the calls, texts, and emails been going? Very slowly, by my own choosing. I know that the state chair race was hotly contested, and given our race and how short it was, I thought to myself that I should take a much softer approach, and that is essentially how my phone calls have gone as well. I have tried to listen more than I have tried to talk to people. Although I am very new to this body, I have tried to really take in what I have been told by the SDEC members that I've reached out to. I did send out a very long email to everyone, which I apologize for. None of you know me. I tried my best to get as much info out as I could to reference in the future. But the phone calls that I have had with people started with text messages. I tried to respect everyone's time and to really take in, like I said, everything that they have tried to tell me. And I have also tried to convey that as they did not know me before, but I was still here, I will also still remain here beyond this next weekend. As a precinct chair here in Tarrant County, we are having our own issues that I'm sure that my skill set could do very well for. But I have heard I have not heard a lot of details from people, but I do understand the general situation for the party as somebody who is not in leadership. I do understand where we are because of the election during last year. But I am learning honestly a lot about who these SDEC members are and what they are passionate about. That has been one of the biggest things that I've tried to ask people that I have spoken with or have responded to give me the time to speak to me. Is just to learn about who they are and what they care about. They are the leadership in the party. They were elected by Democrats to lead the party. Thank you.
Thank you. Susie?
Okay, thank you. The next question. What would you do to increase and cultivate the support and trust of our grassroots donors, as well as increase the proportion of these smaller dollar donors to decrease reliance on the big dollar donors? And we'll start with Brandon.
In campaigning, you have to reach out to every single type of person that there is that could possibly give. A lot of it runs through NGP. A lot of it has to do with our targeting system and things like that. And to build on what our state chair, Kendall, has done, I would love to see how we could grow and make the Texas Trailblazers program a bit more interactive with people. I know that a lot of people clamor for the ability to show up to things and not just be fed basically from a text message into a donation bin and then have one thank you letter and then massive amounts of emails after that. People like to be involved in this process. We are a democratic entity, and the involvement is key to our success. And that also translates not from grassroots donors, but also to large donors as well. I know that a lot of them have had their doubts and have decided to maybe sit on the sidelines for quite some time. But these are people that also care about our country, and they care about our state, and they care about the status of our party. And it is something that we're going to have to make inclusive for everyone and bring people into what we are doing and try to communicate with them what our programming is and how exactly we are going to deal with our programming as we also deal with the party's debt. That is something that I know that no one likes to hear the word debt. And they definitely don't like to hear the word debt when in relation to how they can be a part of reducing that. And that is going to have to take trust building with our donors, not whether that is our grassroots or our large donors. This is essentially a massive trust building exercise that we can not only do what is necessary for Democrats in this state, but we can actually lead the state of Texas to get us to the point where we can govern better for Texans. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Katy.
Yeah, so I think like to increase support and trust from the donors, we have to treat them like partners. That start with transparency. We should show them where every dollar goes and how it really impacts from voter registration to local candidate support. And then I think I'm very good at that with my, that's my daily job. And then I could implement regular donor updates, financial snapshot and story from the field to so they can see their contribution in action. And then I think I'm very social friendly and I keep very good relationships. So I think I can also meet people where they are. It means I can build their outreach, and then I can offer the easy digital donation tools and making room for every kind of contribution, whether it's like just $5 or $10 or just a few volunteer hours or hosting a house party. And I also launched a sustainer program that rewards recurring donors with exclusive updates, recognition, and access to events. Finally, we grow small donor with the small dollar, giving by building trust through relationships and not just transaction. So I will work with the local leaders and county parties to create the campaigns that reflect the community priorities. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Katy. And Meri?
So number one, I definitely want to create a Latin-based fundraising program where we can start reaching out to other ethnic groups and definitely reach out to these Hispanic and maybe other races of organizations. But one of the things that we definitely need to do is start building relationships with our current donors, which is not much that we have going on right now. And we're supposed to have a strong messaging campaign, and it doesn't have that, and the election results show that. And so messaging is one thing that I think I'm good at. I was a marketing degree before I decided to switch to accounting. And so I want to give my marketing skills a little go at it. And I want to make sure that, of course, we create some kind of confidence within the party for these big dollar donors. Whoever was there before, we need to do something different, and we need to bring in some a new chapter into the Democratic Party, and I'm looking forward to doing that because whatever was there before, it's just not working. And I think that if we keep doing the same thing over and over, we're not going to get a different result. So I'm looking forward to making sure that all the donors get some kind of accountability. We can't give them any kind of accountability on Excel spreadsheet. We need to give them some financial reports that they are able to use, that are user-friendly, that are, you know, able to communicate with the donors too, so they know what we're doing with our money. And whatever they have now, it's not there. When they're discovering liabilities and through emails, I don't think that we have the right internal control frameworks put into place, and I look forward to putting them into place. Thank you.
Thank you, Meri. Kolby?
Yeah, so I think the real answer to this question is doing the opposite of everything the National Party does. If you've ever been on a DSCC or a D-Trip text list or an email list, you've gotten desperate campaign emails. Kolby, we're dying without you, right? No donor, that is simply ineffective. And the consultant class that uses that to both guilt voters into donations is simply ineffective. Really, the most important thing that we can do to cultivate small dollar donations is exactly what the chairman is doing right now on his Texas Size Tour. It is showing up in every corner of this state, whether that is a part of the state or a county of the state that votes 20% Democrat or 80% Democrat. Every single corner of the state deserves to have Democratic representation. And the best way in which you can convince donors to give is to give them a product that they can believe in, to give them a product in which they feel represented in. And since I was in diapers when we won our last statewide election, the voters of Texas haven't seen that reflected in the Texas Democratic Party. And the real answer to this question is yes, we have to increase small dollar donation and grassroots support. But quite frankly, where we're at right now as a party, the first couple months of whoever steps into this position simply has to be in large dollar donation. Yes, we have to cultivate small dollar donations, but we have got to get out of the financial hole we find ourselves in. And unfortunately, due to past leadership, it's simply not going to occur in $5 to $10 increments.
Okay, thank you. We'll go into the next question. What would you do to increase and cultivate the support and trust of our big dollar donors? And we'll start with Kolby.
Yeah, and so this is something that my experience leading the prior organizations, like I said, both on the C3 side and on the strictly political organization side, have led me to have existing relationships with longtime elected officials, as well as partner and allied organizations. And so increasing and cultivating the support of those organizations is purely relational. Seeing themselves reflected in leadership, much like voters, and also having an existing base, a foundational support system of support and trust is going to be vital for them to, I almost want to say, start donating to the party, right? Because so few are at a large donor level at this point. And so putting the party back in a place where those existing power structures feel that they can trust, and as gross of a word, as gross of a term as it is, it does exist in large donor cultivation. It is the return on investment. And largely what that looks like is a party that they feel is operating in a way that is competent and that is ensuring, especially with our elected officials, if we can go to the senator from San Antonio and say, listen, I can guarantee you that on the import and the export, at least 30% of your donation will go right back to your district, they're going to be much more likely to support us financially.
Thank you, Kolby. Brandon?
In order to increase donations, trust has to be built. But how do you build trust with people? You build trust with people by giving trust first. You have to trust them with the fact that if you want their input from them, that we're going to have to take it as a party. There is a very wide field to be able to cultivate from the types of people that may be able to donate in large sums. But they, again, I touched on this earlier, they don't want to just be the number. They want us to call to just see how they're doing. They want to be as familiar as everyone on the SDEC is with everyone else, with the party itself, because that is something that they truly do flock towards. And a lot of big donors have big donor friends also. Usually birds of a feather flock together. And if you make a relationship with one, then you may be able to make a relationship with others, which is exactly something that they taught us in campaigning, which is, you start with your circle very small and you start to slowly spiral yourself out until you get your pool large enough. And what they're going to want to know is that not only are we taking care of our debt, that we're going to want to know that we are also growing at the same time. As a political organization, we cannot just stop to focus on our debt. We must also maintain our political programming in order to maintain our relevancy, in order to maintain the footprint here for Texans who count on us to fight for their values. And that is probably one of the things that I bring to the table best is I am a connector of people. And that is where I feel I'm going to excel the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Katy?
Yes, I think to increase and cultivate support from big dollar donors, we need to lead with the first thing, credibility, strategy, and stewardship. So, like many donors want to see a clear plan, competent execution, and measurable impact. I will start by strengthening the case for investment, not just asking for support, but showing how their contribution drives statewide wins, build lasting infrastructure, and create equity across desert. And then I think building the relationship is the key. So I will prioritize one-on-one engagement, including tailored briefing, regional donor routable, and meaningful recognition. I think I do that very well with the investor and shareholder that I have been working with the PV drilling. And we have to ensure financial transparency and fiscal discipline. Donors, large or small, they should feel confident that every dollar is being used wisely and ethically. My background in management, multi-million-dollar budget, give me the experience to lead with that kind of accountability. And lastly, a good work to diversify the donor base, reaching out to under-tapped sector like business leaders of color, women, and impact investors who align with our democratic values but haven't been consistently engaged. Thank you.
Thank you, Katy. Meri?
So large donors, what we need to do is definitely establish some kind of confidence. I know that dealing with the SDEC, being part of meetings, being part of the knowledge base that we have received, the finance committee hasn't met yet. We need to do the audit. We haven't worked on an audit. The software that's being used right now I don't know if it's being used, and we need to present some accurate financials. And we need to also make sure that our donors are being reached out to. I know during the Texas Democratic Party chair race, I reached out to some state Democratic state representatives, some state senators, Democratic senators reached out to me. And, I asked them, why aren't you donating to the Democratic Party? And one laughed at me and one said, no, thanks. Not even, like, we are having important events in Austin, Texas, where they are there nearby and they're not even going to these events. I mean, if the current messaging people were able to reach these Democratic, why aren't they there? Why aren't we holding them accountable? And why aren't they donating on a regular basis to the Democratic Party? So before we start looking into large donations, which I think small donations are great, guys. I studied Colin Allred's campaign. He built his campaign, his $10 million campaign on $5 and $10 donations. So I know that they can make an impact. But before we can get these large donors, we need to establish something with confidence where it's a user-friendly, or they see what we're doing with our money, and it hasn't been done. I look forward to it being done. And, we need to do something about it, guys. So I look forward to establishing a lot of confidence from big donors and communicating with people that we probably haven't even reached out to. And why haven't we reached out to them?
Time.
Gonna find out.
Thank you, candidates. Pooja?
Thank you. What was the most successful fundraiser you planned, or what was the single most you directly raised for a single event or project? And we will be asking Meri first. Thanks.
So one of the largest events that I was a part of was the Hidalgo County Democratic Party Get Out the Vote campaigns. But to be honest with you, I never got a final number. The campaign got a new chair. The new chair did not take any of the old records. They just created their own PAC and started their own bank account and did their own thing. So we never had a final meeting with the totals. But I know it was in the hundreds of thousands. I've posted videos on my Facebook of the events, the billboards for the candidates that we've had, the amount of people that attended. There's pictures everywhere, but I would like to say at least over 100,000 just for one event. Other events that I did, I know in college, there was the Sigma Alpha Iotas, no, not Sigma, one of the fraternities from the university, they were going to lose their house. They were going to get foreclosed on, and we decided to throw a party real quick, and we fundraised enough money in one night to save the house for a whole year. So, I would love to give fundraising a try. I'm friendly with the mic, and I'm ready to get out and see who is out there around the state of Texas to donate. Thank you.
Kolby?
All right. So, yeah, definitely two different questions in terms of successful and then most directly raised. I think the most successful is something I've already touched on, and that's taking over when Texas Young Democrats taking over and unfortunately finding out that what I had been sold was not quite what existed financially. And knowing that because of existing relationships, particularly obviously in my role with Austin Young Democrats, it was Austin based since I had not served statewide yet. But knowing that within 3 hours we were back in the positive, and that within 3 months we were doing something no other executive team had done in Texas Young Democrats history, and that was sending direct donations to our local charter units for tabling, for GOTV, whatever it may be. No other Texas Young Democrats executive team in one term has matched what we fundraised in those 2 years, and I'm super proud of it. And I think that that's the most successful effort. In terms of most directly raised for a single event or project, it's probably one of the Young Democrats of America National Convention, where I served as vice president of the largest partisan youth organization in the nation. And it would have been at or near $400,000 to $500,000, albeit certainly not all me. But in terms of one specific fundraiser in which the most was raised, I would have to say it would be that.
Thank you, Kolby. Brandon?
So this is just a bit different than what I've been talking about, but when I measure success and when I think of what has made the most impact on people, over 10 years ago when the war in Ukraine started, I took a hold of the Maidan Revolution and really was enamored with what the Ukrainians were doing in order to throw off their oppressive government under Viktor Yanukovych. I decided to start advocating for Ukrainians here in the States almost 10 years ago, before most Americans had realized that it wasn't a civil war, that it was the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I measure my success in that by being able to say that I raised enough money to send over 6 semi-trucks from Norway with non-lethal military aid to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. It is something that I am myself personally proud of. Dollar-wise, I cannot technically measure it in dollars because the Norwegians use the kroner. And so it worked out financially, though, because it is not the EU, so the conversion rate actually benefited us instead of converting to euros. But single most I've raised in an event, I've been on a lot of campaigns and I've helped with a lot of fundraising efforts. I've never been a sole fundraiser. It has always been a team effort, as most people in campaign land know. You may have directors, but I am a paralegal. A lot of the labor does the heavy lifting on that. And that is where I try to measure my success. And I would say that in Wisconsin was probably where I helped raise the most money with our fundraiser. But I do not have the metrics on that, unfortunately.
Can we move to Katy? Sorry,
Yeah.
we have
So
Pooja's having some a power outage at her house, but Katy, please.
okay. So like because working as a controller and CFO is my daily job. So one of my most successful events were $5 million research fundraiser, and we were engaged with a corporate sponsor. And I'm also in RISE Alumni Investor Committee, so I use all of my relationship. I'm so proud to be in the list of 100 women to know in America, JP Morgan Chase 2025. So I have a chance to know a lot of beautiful, young, and smart women who are in corporate and also be the business owner. And then I use all of my relationship with them. And I also in the 2024 Female Executive of the Year Stevie Award and Business Elite Award for 40 under 40. So I use all of my relationship to run whenever I can. And then I strongly believe like they trust me, and I can have more successful fundraising. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Meri.
We're on question 12. Sorry.
Yeah, Pooja, can you read question 12?
How much have you donated to, and how much have you raised for Democratic organizations and candidates in the last 4 years and in total? Also, are you currently a sustaining donor to the Texas Democratic Party, known as the Texas Trailblazer Program, which is a monthly recurring donation to the TDP?
So as of today, yes, I am a Texas Trailblazer, and I have donated to the Texas Democratic Party, the state party. For the Hidalgo County Democratic Party, well, here in South Texas, I did a lot of block walking for Michelle Vallejo for District 15. I asked a lot of my clients to donate to them. I never got a total, but I mean, just one of them was $750 towards Michelle Vallejo. So some of my clients are always going to be donating about $750 and higher. When it came to the Democratic Party, again, guys, I was never a fundraiser. I was always just a donor. People would always come to me for money. Of course, you know, the money is better than time sometimes, but with the Democratic Party, I always donated for events. I was one of the organizers for Get Out the Vote when we did a Biden train, and a lot of the GOP was doing a bunch of MAGA trains everywhere, disrupting public life. And so I was able to get with the chief of police and with the city and organize a wonderful parade, which was very successful. And I posted a lot of those events on my Facebook. I'm lucky to be a trailblazer now, and I think that Kendall has started this program a long time ago. It was a great program. One of the things that I did talk about is making sure that we would get pledges, and we put them on the record to make sure we have those pledges on our receivables accounts. And I definitely did phone banking for Beto and Lupe Valdez, plenty of time, donated for my own personal services.
Time.
The money is uncountable.
Thank you, Katy.
Yeah, so as you may know, I just joined the party recently, so I don't have a chance to do that. But I'm happy to expand that even further by bringing new donors, building the relationship, and strengthen the financial backbone of the party. And I myself also run my own business, so I can also offer like free training courses to young Democrats in finance, accounting, and for me, fundraising is just about a dollar. It's about a movement building, and I'm all in. I also run my own fundraising in Vietnam to help the Vietnamese orphan over there. So I think I'm really good at that, and hopefully I can have more activity with our party. Thank you.
Thank you. Kolby.
Yeah, so how much have you donated in total? I couldn't tell you. I could look up my ActBlue account, but maybe we'll come back to that. But I do know that I'm currently, yes, I am and have been a sustaining donor to the party under the Trailblazer program. I'm also a sustaining donor to the Texas Young Democrats. And I believe one other org that is escaping me now. But happy sustaining donor to the party and other allied orgs, and have been for a while.
Thank you. Brandon?
As a campaigner, which a lot of campaigners will tell you, like time is money and money is time. I have donated my time to a lot of different candidates. I'm currently donating my time in a financial capacity to a candidate for the United States Congress. And that is probably where most of my donated ability has come from. I'm not necessarily the type of person that can myself garner a large amount of money coming from a very blue collar background. But what I do have is time and skill. And that is something that I am willing to donate here, which is one reason why I'm running for vice chair of finance as a non-paid position, because I can donate my time. If I had the resources to pull the party out of its debt, I would surely give it, as I know many people would, including every single candidate here most likely would do so. In the last 4 years, I really can't speak to how many or how much. I can say recently that up here in Fort Worth, I did donate to candidates. It was not large sums of money. It was also time as well. As a precinct chair, I did donate my time to go and knock doors and help to make sure that our city council became a blue council, sans our mayor. And the second question, I am not currently a sustaining donor through the Texas Trailblazer program. That is something that I did not actually learn about until I went to the state chair race down in Austin in March. Okay, that's the end of it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Susie, go ahead.
Okay. Y'all, we're getting down to the end, so take a deep breath and let's go just do a little bit more here. All right. The next question is, how do you plan on training party leaders and volunteers, especially young Democrats, to fundraise for the Texas Democratic Party? And Brandon, we'll start with you.
Yeah, this really speaks to me because a lot of what I did as an organizer is train people, thousands of people, how to knock doors, also people how to actually do the fundraising nitty gritty. I'm very good at being patient with people, and that is probably something that is necessary. I would feel in this role more than anything is the patience to wait, the patience to hear people as they learn, and to hold their hand to do so is also something that is takes lots and lots of patience. That is not to say that I don't believe that a lot of our younger members do not already have the capability to raise the funds. They might just not be aware of it. Most of the younger generation seems to live online, and it is only within the past maybe 5 or so years that the Democratic Party has realized that that is where we should probably be trying to raise the most money, is to go where the people are, especially with Grassroots. But my training that I was taught was something that I will gladly pass down and on to anybody who would like to learn, and vice versa. I am not perfect. I do not have all of the answers, and I am democratically minded. And so when I think of training, it's not just a one-way street. I'm sure that people could teach me something as well. And so that is something that I like to go into my conversations with when I actually do train people to operate in the political space.
Thank you, Brandon. Katy?
Yes, so I believe that I'm a very good trainer, and I'm so proud of my son. He's 10 years old, and he is in the top one of America, and he just got accepted to Mensa And then I did have some internal training courses with my staff in accounting and finance department. So I create toolkits, I host monthly training section, and I pair new people with experienced people. And then we're focusing on storytelling, digital tools, and confidence building. If we want to have a future bench of leaders, we need to equip them now. And then I believe that fundraising is a learnable skill, so not a talent you're born with. And my plan is to create a training program that meets party leader and young Democrats where they are, whether they are brand new or ready to level up. And we need to have a fundraising boot camps, interactive practical workshop on storytelling, donor engagement, content, and digital tools. I'll bring in experienced fundraiser paired up with rising leader and create real-time coaching environments where people can learn by doing. And second, I'll build a mentorship pipeline, matching young Democrats and county leader with seasoned fundraiser for ongoing support, not just during election season, but year round. And the third, I will provide templates, toolkit, and digital guides, so no one needs to do it again. And fundraising is about relationship, confidence, and consistency. And I believe that I can do it. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Katy. Meri?
So I think the Democratic Party is starting one of the new caucuses, which is the County Party Chairs Caucus, which is developing as we speak. And it's getting stronger and better. And I'm looking forward to, seeing what the county party chairs do, right? They are the eyes and ears on the field for us. What we provide to the county party chairs, the county party chairs can provide to the precinct chairs, and therefore growing the base. The base should be a variety from elders to young people. And I think if we can empower our county party chairs to reach out to younger voters, to go where we have never been normally, and create a message that will resonate with all people around the state of Texas. Well, number one, we got to get our messaging right. Without the proper messaging, we won't have something to resonate that will echo through from north, south, east, or west. So definitely, I think we should just target our marketing right now is number one. And then once we create a message or a campaign or a playbook that we'll be able to utilize, we don't have much to go off of. And whoever was there in the past is responsible for that. And so I look forward to creating a message to make sure that we resonate throughout the entire state of Texas, especially with their young kids. I have 2 children, both passed the STAR exam. Both are, social, popular kids. My son was in the Texas State Choir to represent South Texas. My daughter is an artist. And so I think that, I have a connection with the young voters and through my children. And of course, the leadership skills, we want to train, our future candidates. So looking forward to all that. Yes, guys.
Thank you. Kolby?
Yeah, so and I remember the third org that I'm a sustaining donor for. Duh, it's the Texas Progressive Caucus. I've been a long time sustainer with the Texas Progressive Caucus, and proud to be so. So in terms of this question, training up the next generation specifically, it's what I've done my whole career. I've been in leadership with the Young Democrats until I retired early 2 years ago. I had been in executive leadership with the Young Dems for 10 years. And that was the entirety of my involvement, was ensuring that whenever I left a position, I left someone there fully equipped to lead in a better and more fierce way than I ever could have imagined. And that's why I'm so proud of our existing Texas Young Democrats president and our finance chair, Hannah Horick, because the best part of leadership, the absolute best part of leadership, is seeing those that come after you that are better leaders than you could have ever imagined possible. And so in terms of training up young Dems, Specifically in the fundraising arena, I think the best advice that I've given in the past is that being everywhere and being ever present is the best thing you can do to cultivate a donor base, because donors don't give to a nameless face. They just don't. If they don't know you, they're not going to give. If you don't have that existing relationship, you have to be a known entity. So for many years, right, a large part of the reason I was successful in fundraising arenas was because I was willing to be everywhere, 4 to 5 nights a week, at the clubs, at the events. And that means that those elected officials, particularly who saw me constantly, they were much more likely to answer my fundraising call and give to our efforts.
Okay. Thank you, Kolby. All right, we're down to the last question now before our closing statements. So, how much time per week and month are you willing to dedicate to fundraising activities such as call time, events, and virtual and in-person meetings? How will you balance this with your personal and professional life? What sacrifices and efforts are you willing to make? And we'll start with Kolby.
Fantastic. So the answer to this question is as much as it takes. For the entirety of my involvement in politics, the vast majority of my PTO as a county employee has been to quarterly SDEC conferences or quarterly conferences and conventions of the Young Democrats. That is what I do with my PTO. And so as much as it takes, I think, honestly, in the beginning, it's going to be in the 15 hour a week to 20 hour a week range of doing call time. I'm lucky enough with the county to have 1.5 hour lunches. Every moment of that in which I am not scarfing a sandwich will be dedicated to doing call time, as well as our weekend hours and after hours as well, when you actually are able to contact more donors as is. So in terms of sacrifices and efforts you're willing to make, it's the exact same sacrifices and efforts I've made thus far in my time in leadership with this party. I am lucky enough to have gotten a decade out of this thus far, and I've only done so because folks know that I serve in a manner of integrity. They know that I'm an aggressive progressive and that you're never going to have to wonder where I stand. Donors live for that. Donors don't like questionality, right? They don't want to question where the person that's calling them and asking them to donate to their effort stands. And they want to know exactly how that money is going to be raised. And only in a way of living and really dedicating yourself in a way of integrity can you tell them back, right, that you're going to be a good steward of their dollars and forge a relationship that will ensure continuation of that.
Thank you, Kolby. We'll go to Brandon.
Given the flexibility of my work schedule for what I do, I can donate as much time as is necessary, which is what I've always done. The person who gets this role is going to have to understand the moment, the money, and the machine that we are all faced with currently. And that is the type of person that is going to need to dedicate a lot of time sitting and planning and having these meetings and things of that caliber. And that is something that I'm committed to doing. As a precinct chair, I made sure that our precinct did not go 2 days without having a precinct chair in it once ours stepped down, and I jumped at the chance to become the precinct chair here, and I've made every CEC meeting. I am a sustaining member for Cowtown Dems here in Tarrant County, and I have not missed a meeting since I joined. These are things that I hold very close to my heart. I'm very passionate about this work, and it is the reason why I filed to begin with to be the next vice chair of finance.
Thank you, Brandon. Katy?
Yes, so I'm prepared to dedicate like maybe 20 to 25 hours each week so to fulfill duty. So I know it's just not attending meeting, but we need to actively fundraising, building relationship, and supporting county party and candidates. And especially I'm totally new, so I need more time to build relationship and know more about people. So I have a very flexible job so that I can yeah, so I'm flexible on that. and I know how to prioritize what matter, and it is a role that I will treat with full professional responsibility. And I know how to manage competing priorities with discipline and heart. So I believe that I can do it in the best way. Thank you.
Thank you, Katy. Meri?
So I'm willing to go full time. I mean, I was willing to go full time when I was running for chair position, and I understand that it is volunteer, and that's basically what I've done my whole life, especially with the church. You know, grew up in the church. There Wednesdays, Friday nights, Saturday nights, always volunteering my time. But as a small business owner and as my own boss, I can work whenever I want. Not only will I donate my time, I will donate my space. I have office space, and that's what I did for Beto and for Lupe Valdez. People reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, Meri, you know, your office is convenient. Can we do phone banking from there? Could we hold a fundraiser?" And I posted plenty of stuff on my social media, on Facebook, where we fundraised for a local judge race, where we've fundraised for small organizations. And let me just tell you guys, you know, that's more than my time. So I'm going to be donating more than time here, guys. I'm going to be donating my experience, my professionalism, my office space, and events. Whenever y'all need me, guys. You know, when I ran for U.S. Senate, a lot of the candidates, you know, even when TDP chair, I got there just in time for the forums or for the debates. And so I'm always thinking about you guys in the back of my mind and saying, what can I do and where can I be whenever I need to be? I've been there to convention. I've been to every single forum for the Texas Democratic Party chair race. And I look forward to being there even more. So I've donated, I give everything to the Democratic Party for just getting out the vote, guys. And I just want to inspire other women to run. I just want to let them know that in the Texas Democratic Party, there's going to be someone there to support them, to help them fundraise. And we're going to fundraise because everybody's going to have their own nonprofit organization soon. So good luck, guys. Look forward to it.
Thank you, Meri. Okay, guys, that's the end of the questions. We're going to go to the closing statements. Each candidate will have 90 seconds. Candidates, please give a closing statement and include why you are the best choice for TDP Vice Chair for Finance. And we'll start with Brandon.
I just want to thank everyone again for the opportunity to be here. I am and have been dedicated to this for my entire adult life. There are things that I have sacrificed and risked to be a Democrat and to be in this position. I will put every effort and every training resource and every bit of my person into this, as I always have done every campaign that I've ever worked on, every ranch that I've ever, I don't know how to say this without saying it, slung dung for. I have the tenacity, I have the flexibility, and I have the institutional knowledge, although I am not known to you. I do know how the system operates, as I have helped it grow and tried to make sure that it also understands itself. This has been a political journey of a lifetime for myself to learn and meet so many new people, even just in this short process. And I will carry that and all of my experience with me as I move forward as your Vice Chair of Finance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brandon. Katy?
First of all, I'm very thankful for this opportunity to know all of you and learn more about our party. And then I'm running for this one, and because I don't just believe in budget, but I believe in people power change. And I came to America with no safety net, only hope and the drive to work hard. And after 12 years, now I serve as the CFO for the billion-dollar companies, led the financial strategy for 20 M&A. But I never forgotten where I came from. That's why I'm here, because I believe that the Democratic Party, we can build finances the same way we build our movements, with transparency, with inclusion, and with heart. As a proud Democrat, a financial strategist, and a mother, I know the real value of dollar, especially in working families, in rural counties, and in communities. And then I know that we can match our value with our financial strategy. We don't just fund campaign, we fund change. If elected, I can deliver real-time financial transparency across our counties, launch grassroots donor programs with no voice into small, support our local leader with the tools and training they deserve. This is not just about the numbers. It's about bringing fiscal strength and moral clarity together to power this movement forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katy. Meri?
So,
Meri, yeah.
why am I the best candidate, guys? Well, I think that the Democratic Party is growing. Texas is becoming a very unique state. And I think I resonate with the new Democratic Party a lot. I understand the concerns of the working class as a tax preparer for hundreds of people in my community. During the US Senate race, I learned one thing, and that's there's a lot of people that come from the RGV in a lot of other states. We are more connected than we know it. And I have come to the realization of that, and I respect that. And I hope that we can bring that to the state party and diversify that. But at the end of the day, my professionalism comes into play, my experience, and my dedication to the Democratic Party. You can ask my boyfriend, there is nobody else that I think about more than our Texas Democrats. And I really look forward to serving in any capacity, guys. If it's already been decided who the finance chair is going to be, that's great. You know, as long as they have the trust of the SDEC, that is the most important thing. And I've known Kolby since I first ran, and I think he's a great person. But I look forward to just, you know, giving a little challenge and trying to see what we can bring to the table. But we're all going to work together at the end, no matter what, because my love for the Democrats is greater than anything else. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Kolby?
So again, thank you to the moderators, to the party, and for the fellow candidates for putting yourself forward in service to this party. To the SDEC, I'm going to speak to you directly. I am truly grateful to all of you who I've had the pleasure of serving alongside over this last decade, and I am humbled by those of you who have already pledged your support. Many of you have played no small role in uplifting myself and other youth members when we've sometimes been hesitant to jump into the fray. Some of you may even say I've done a little bit of growing up in my time on the body. Thank you for helping me grow, for seeing me on my journey, and for fighting shoulder to shoulder together for a brighter, bluer future. I believe it is more important than ever before that we have someone ready to roll up their sleeves on day one and assist our new chairman in getting this party back to good standing. Someone who knows the score, someone who knows the playing field and has the long-standing relationships to build up a fundraising model that sustains our progress long after our time in service ends. I believe I am that candidate, and I humbly ask your support once again as we move forward together. The stakes are simply too high for anything less. Above all, I hold transparency and accountability as the key to leadership. You've got my email, you've got my phone number, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kolby. Thank you, candidates. Pooja?
Thank you. Thank you, TDP Vice Chair for Finance candidates, for participating in our official virtual forum, for being a leader in our party, and for throwing your hat in the ring. We look forward to the TDP Vice Chair for Finance election this Saturday, where the State Democratic Executive Committee, aka SDEC, will select one of you during the SDEC meeting. And for the 3 of you that are not successful in winning on Saturday, we want to invite you to be involved with the TDP and our governing board, the SDEC, because all 4 of you have special skills and dedication that our party needs. So Meri, Kolby, Katy, and Brandon, I hope we can count on you being very involved with the Democratic Party, regardless of the outcome of the race for vice chair for finance candidates. After we stop the live stream, please stay on the Zoom. Thank you to our viewers who are watching us live on YouTube. Don't forget to click on the subscribe bell for notifications and give this video a like by clicking on the thumbs up. Again, I'm Pooja Sethi from the Travis County Democratic Party, and this is my fellow county chair, Susie Stansel from the Rockwall County Democratic Party. We're signing off. Good night.